Today's video, we're going to go over all of the updates on our newly built race car that we are slowly putting back together and install this solid steering joint from Condor Speed Shop. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Tenza Motorsports. As you can see, I've already opened this up because I couldn't contain my excitement. I wanted to see what this was like. Before we get to that and going over all of the updates on the car, make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you enjoy this type of content. Like and share with all your friends, and make sure that you comment any questions or any other comments you have on today's content. Put them down in the comment section below and I'll make sure to reply to you. So I am super excited to get this put on. I haven't even read the instructions, but it looks pretty straightforward. I'm not going to say that this is how it's done yet, but it looks like these are set pins to go into the threaded holes here. And then I think these lock the set pins in there. But we'll go over the instructions and install that in a little bit. First, let's go over everything on the car that is done and what needs to be done next. So as you can see here, the headlight is all put together. I think I showed this in another video, but I have both of them up here. They are ready to go. We have our box of all of the rebuild parts, and you can see here that it's getting pretty low on parts. A lot of this, what's left, those are fog lights, those are some different turn signals. The two packages over here, that is another oil pan gasket. For some reason I ordered two or something, and then there is a rear main seal that I actually had another one of in my other box of spare E46 parts. So two packages there I didn't need. That was a belt just in case we had the different alternator for the ECS tuning pulleys, the underdrive pulleys, the LEDs for the auxito bulbs. So yeah, we're getting pretty low. There's only a couple things in here, power steering line and some other stuff, but look at how far we've come on this. So we have our motor mounts. I got all those tightened down. They are solid motor mounts. They were not quite right on this side. It wasn't spun right, and so I had to actually lift the motor up and spin the motor mount, and that was not very fun, but we got that done. As you can see here, the ECU box is all put back together. I'm going to be running wires for the pedals. I'm a little bit nervous about that because this is the M3 donor that we used to build the E46 wagon, and if you remember, we took every single part off this car that wagon needed. So there are parts in this that we no longer have. So if we go underneath here, you can see the pedal box is now put together. The only thing I got to do now is figure out what wiring I do and don't need. This car is not going to have cruise control, so some of the clutch switches and things like that I won't necessarily need. A lot of this is going to get torn out. You can see that I've already ripped the carpet up a little bit to get back at these lines. I hate that line that sits back behind there that goes to the slave cylinder. Drives me nuts. So I just cut the carpet out because we're going to be removing the carpet, and I've already stolen chunks of this carpet for the wagon build. So yeah, the carpet was already ruined. I know it's two pieces, but the back piece is ruined and the front piece was ruined up over here and on the other side, grabbing sections for the wagon. Underneath the car, you can't see it, but all of the drive shaft is all done. I've got the Guibo in there, the flex joint, the center drive shaft bearing, the rear CV joint thing that goes into the diff. All that's been redone, all of it's ready to go. It is going to have a fuel cell. I've never done a fuel cell, so I'm hoping that that's not a huge deal, but that is going to be going in the trunk. Then the only other things that I need to get done to get it started is to put the front end back on. So we'll have all of the radiator and all the radiator hoses, and then tuning. So tuning is going to be done through Rev Match. They do a lot of E46 stuff. I don't know if they do any other chassis. I haven't really talked to them about anything else, but because I have two E46s, that's what we have talked about in the past. They are awesome tuners. I'm going to leave the Instagram down in the description below and in the comment section. So if you are interested in getting your car custom tuned by somebody who really knows what they're doing, that's the place I would go. And then other things that we've done, got new tie rod ends, got new sway bar end links, just little things that I didn't think that were super important to have on camera. Made sure that all of the spark plugs are ready to go and running all the wiring. I've got to get a bunch of this put together. I'm excited to get the strut tower bar put on. That's sitting right here. We did this a couple videos ago where we put new pieces on it, wrapped it up, and made it look all nice and pretty again. Now that we're all caught up with what's going on with the car as a whole, let's go over here and look at our steering joint one more time. So this piece here is the main package you'll receive when you order this. And you'll have all of your hardware up here in this section, and then the main piece lower here. And then the other thing that Condor does is they send you all sorts of other fun stuff. Looks like we've got here a whole bunch of other items that they sell. So if you want to do motor mounts and power steering delete plates and stuff like that, they have those available, and I'll have all this linked in the description below. You got some stickers here, and we also have a sleeve for your drink, which is pretty cool. It says Condor on it. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm so excited to get this done. This is something I've wanted to do on my race car for a long time, ever since I found out that somebody made a solid joint. I didn't actually know that that was a thing until I really started to look into the steering joints on these cars. If you remember, back a couple years ago, I did a polyurethane one on my race car. I've really liked that one, but this one should be a lot sharper. The polyurethane one still has a little bit of flex to it. It's still way better than OEM, but it's light years better than the soft, broken ones that a lot of people get on these old E46s. This one right here should just be as crispy as you can get. There is no flex, nothing. Every time you touch your wheel, straight to the steering rack, which I'm very excited about. So this should be a pretty straightforward install. We're gonna slip that on. It did not come with instructions, but like I said, I'm pretty sure that's how it works, but I'm going to do a little bit of research and make sure that we're installing this properly. And then we'll get it on the car and I'll show it all done. Where it's really far back up in there, it's gonna be kind of difficult for my viewers to see using the camera, but you'll have this side right here, which has all the splines on it, and then this side right here, which has a special design. So it only goes in one way, and you'll slip both pieces in. I believe this is the side that goes onto the rack, and this is the side that comes from your steering wheel. And we'll just slip that on there, and then run these set pins in there, and we should be done. All right, everybody, there it is installed. Sorry, it's hard to get the camera back up in here, which is why I didn't actually record installing it. It was so easy though. The hardest thing that you're gonna run into doing this project is pulling the old one off. Putting the new one on is not a big deal at all. And like I said earlier, I was correct. Those nuts are to lock the pins into place. So you'll get them lined up. There's actually little grooves. You'll put the pin so that it hits those grooves on both sides of the shaft. And then once you do that, you just crank them down. Don't ruin them obviously, but crank them down real nice and tight, and then put those lock nuts on there, and you should be good to go. Unfortunately, it's not completely plug and play. I did have to remove this piece here. This is a plastic piece that is a guide for the original one. Sorry, it's not focusing. But yeah, so this piece right here had to get removed. You can see I cut it off. I don't know how important this piece is particularly. I've seen cars come through that this piece was broken, and I've had cars where I've been working on them and this piece is busted off. So it's really just an alignment for the OEM parts, but where we're not running the OEM parts anymore, and we're gonna make sure that all the steering rack is all nice and straight ourselves. I don't see taking this off to be a big problem. If you're modifying your car, some things like this are just gonna have to happen. If this kind of stuff freaks you out, then I guess good thing you watched till the end to talk about it. But yeah, the rest of it was in and out. The only thing that I had to do to make this fit a little bit easier, to get that in there a little bit easier, is I did take the bolts out for the steering rack, and then I was able to slide the rack forward and back like a ½ inch, and that's all it took. So thanks everybody so much for watching. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down in the comment section below. Like today's video if you enjoy this type of content, and we'll see everybody in the next one.
Bam!